And welcome back to the J&D Sports Show. I'm your host, Joshua Velasquez.
And I'm Dylan Davis.
Now, let's just first get to that game last night. I mean, that game was such a turnaround from the beginning to the end. I mean, in the beginning, it was a game that everyone did not want to happen. It was a low-scoring game. You know, it was like, 5 minutes into the game, it was like 7-2. I thought, like, here we go. This is going to be... I would, like, when it was playing like that, I wouldn't have been shocked if the final score was 50-40. It was just a terrible game, and then luckily they caught on. Virginia had a lead. Texas Tech came back. They took the lead, and then Virginia ties it up again. They've just been clutch late in the game. Many people call you lucky. In my opinion, I think that's clutch, because it's different when you're lucky. Like Duke was lucky. Duke had to have the other team miss. And I feel like Virginia had to make that basket. So in my opinion, Virginia was clutch more than they were lucky. And then, of course, you had Virginia winning in overtime 85-77. And you guys all know it. Of course, I picked Virginia to win it all. And I won the tournament of the J&D bracket, beating Dylan Davis. Because that game yesterday, whoever won that game, if Texas Tech would have won, Dylan would have won the tournament. And if Virginia won like they did, I would have won. So, I mean, I guess I'm just the best at picking out of both of us. But what do you think about that game, Dylan, or about how you lost to me?
Well, first, congratulations.
Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, I was texting you back and forth. I was also texting a friend of ours, Connor Charzia. Just from the start, I could earn the nickname Captain Negative, because, I mean, when you start off the game like Texas Tech did, where their only points came from the free throw line, and they didn't score a single field goal until 7 minutes into the game. And when you're in a big game like this, a championship game, you can't expect to win coming out like that. And from watching Texas Tech on their journey through this March Madness tournament, and you know, a lot of people, I still received a lot of criticism for picking Texas Tech to go this far. I had a lot of people calling me crazy, you know, but they made it all the way to this game. But, you know, after watching how they performed in the tournament versus last night was completely different. And it was just a different team, and you could tell it was just different. The players, you know, guys like Mooney and Culver. I mean, Culver went 0 for 8 in the beginning with his shots. Mooney didn't get anything going until the second half. And, you know, if it wasn't for Texas Tech's bench, it would have been a blowout for sure.
Exactly,
because
yeah.
They scored 29 points on the bench. And, you know, their leading scorer was Francis, who I believe he was their senior, but he plays off the bench. But he showed up, and he did really well. But, you know, the defense, I thought, played well in the beginning. You know, but there was also poor offensive play on both sides.
Oh, my goodness. It was terrible. Both teams had, like, wide open shots, and they just passed it. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, there was one drive with Virginia, I believe in the first half, that he had a wide open three-point shot.
Yeah, I think I remember.
He juked him, and then he faked it, had another shot, dribbled in, had another shot, passed it. That guy had a shot, and they turned it over. They had like 3 or 4 shots, and they turned that ball over. Like, that's just like, but like, they both didn't play. They both made a lot of mistakes, but I mean, you have to give it to Virginia too. Becoming the first ever 1 seed to lose to a 16 seed, and then the following you win it all. That's just, like, you can't make that stuff up. That's such an amazing turnaround. Yes, I know they were 1 seed 2 years in a row, and they should have been here, but the fact that these players were able to, pick themselves up from last year's tournament and just say, like, you know what, that's done from last year. Let's not do that again, and that's showing what we're really made out of and win it all.
Yeah.
That's
Well, the thing is too. I mean, two of their guys were over 20 points, so and they were starters.
I tell you what,
starters showed up. And they made plays.
Well, I tell you what, what's his name? Guy. He was
the guy.
Yeah. Kyle Guy was incredible. Like, I just couldn't believe the things Kyle Guy and DeAndre Hunter could not be stopped yesterday. Kyle Guy is one of the most clutch players I've seen in the tournament in such a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the things he'd be able to do, like, and able to sink baskets in, and just, like, it's incredible. And, like, he has a bright, in my opinion, like, I didn't really know who he was. Like, I knew who he was, obviously, but he exploded in the past couple games in the tourney.
Yeah, definitely. He made all the shots that he needed to make, and I just had before we move on, I just had a couple points of criticism for Texas Tech. Was obviously on that last drive for Virginia when they had that three that was hit by Hunter, kind of in the corner. On that type of play, I watched a little bit of the press conference after the game, and the coach, he always preaches, in practice, they practice those situations where, it's a 3-point game with seconds left, don't give up the three. And the coach was motioning that signal. He was telling his players, don't give up the three. So, and probably, I mean, I'm sure you think the same way, but in my eyes, that's what you definitely don't want to do.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
you don't want to give up that three, and even just give that open. I mean, give the open layup, because all they'll do is score 2 points.
Well, look even in the Final Four game when they beat Auburn, same thing. Right before that play, when they right before they got fouled in the three, he's sitting there. He's like, watch Guy. He's gonna go in this corner and get it. And he drew, and he even said, when I was into an interview with him, he said that he told everyone that he's gonna get the ball and he's gonna shoot. Focus on him, and then that's what happens. And it was a good, then he gets fouled, and just I just want to put this out too. Just think about Virginia right here, and the Elite Eight, with 5 seconds after the game. Virginia was losing 70-67. They won that game. Final Four with 17 seconds left, 61-57. They were losing. They won that game. And then you had yesterday with 12 seconds left of the game. They were down by 3 with 68-65, and they force overtime and they win that game. That's just incredible, because usually you don't see that happen. You usually have one team that they get lucky once. The second time, but like the fact that it happened 3 times, and it wasn't just like the first 2 rounds. This was the last, like, the Elite Eight, Final Four, in the championship game. Like, that's just incredible, in my opinion.
Yeah, that shows that they're a championship caliber team where they're able to finish games, and that's what the most important part is be able to finish a game. And it's something that, like I said, Texas Tech was very lucky to be in this game because of their bench, because if it wasn't for their bench, then this would have been a shootout. And one of the guys, Culver, was 5 for 22 yesterday. And I'll repeat that, 5 for 22. They kept feeding him the ball. They kept trying to get him going. But you know what? In this kind of game, if he doesn't have a hot hand, then why keep feeding him?
Yeah.
Find your other guys. Francis was hot. He didn't play much in the second half. Trying to get Mooney going. Mooney took a few good shots at the end. He drilled a couple threes, but you can't keep feeding a guy who's cold. I mean, 5 for 22. That's uncalled for.
Especially in a championship game. Like, that's the thing, too, is like, it's not like you went 5 for 22 in, like, the first round early in the season. This was 5 for 22 in the championship game with all the pressures on you. That's just, yeah.
Yeah, and it was a big mistake, too, that Owens got fouled out early. I mean, you could tell he wasn't the same with his ankle, and I give him credit for still playing. I mean, after I saw what happened to him the game before, I thought he was done.
Yeah.
Right after I saw the way his ankle rolled like that, I thought he was done. Then he comes back in that game, he plays, and then he came out to this game. Definitely showed determination, but, just a lot of mental errors for Texas Tech. And, even towards the end, there was a little over a minute left, and Mooney took that really deep three.
Yeah.
And, that's a shot, that's a terrible shot right there. That's a terrible decision to make, because all you got to do is, hold on to the ball, but then just push it. Push it in. Maybe you can draw a foul, send your guys to the line. Make the easy shots. Don't force yourself to take those hard shots. And that was a deep three. I mean, that wasn't just a three. That was a deep three. He didn't, and I don't remember. I don't know if it was his shot or a different shot, but somebody was really close to making it, but I don't know if it was that one. I think maybe he was the one that just hit the side of the backboard.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was just kind of a little bit of my take. But I give credit to both teams, especially Virginia, for winning it, and also just want to take a moment to thank everybody on our page that have been following us and everything that joined the tournament. It was a lot of fun. I hope that everybody enjoyed themselves, and this is certainly not our last tournament. We're gonna have more in the future, so stay tuned for those.
The next big thing coming up will be, of course, not for months away, but we'll be having our own fantasy football league. So look forward to that, and look into that, because we're all gonna be playing fantasy football. Well, that's just gonna be a lot better, because that's a lot longer. In my opinion, it's more competitive. So we'll be doing that for this coming NFL season. But speaking of the NFL, it seems like he cannot stay out of this light of drama. Antonio Brown is back again in the drama. It just seems like every single week he is something. It's something like, it's just getting ridiculous. Like, you had him saying he fumbled the ball. He fumbled the ball away, and just that he fumbled, something about emotion, and then he was taking shots at Juju for fumbling the ball.
It says Antonio in this, in case anybody that hasn't followed it, it wasn't even anybody really that relevant. I think it was just a fan. He posted a graphic of 2018 Steelers most valuable player, Juju Smith-Schuster,
which he was voted on by the players, the Steelers players, on who was the most valuable player, and then Juju won that team reward. Just to make that clear.
And before Antonio Brown came at Juju, he put on there, "Keep your emotions off the internet," and then right after that, he put emotion with a colon. He said, then this is a quoted tweet, "Boy fumbled the whole postseason in the biggest game of the year. Everyone went blind. Too busy making guys famous. Not enough reality these days. By the way, check the list."
I'm not sticking up for AB at this point at all, but in my opinion, you don't really deserve to be the team's MVP if you fumbled the playoff hopes alive. That's just my opinion. I understand he had a great year, but if you single-handedly fumbled that ball and they would have allowed that to the loss, you really don't deserve to be that most valuable player. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, it could sure have a factor into it.
But it's unexcusable for what AB said. And then to top it off, what he said last, and you can't see it anymore, but he deleted it. It's because he deleted it from his Instagram. Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown on Instagram posted a picture of a DM, or direct message from Instagram, from when Juju was in college.
Oh yeah, I think I could actually.
He
right
did.
Here.
He did delete. Right here. He did delete the picture, but.
Yeah, it's on. I have it on Google Images. That's how I can find it.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying. I was looking at his page earlier, and he took it down because he was getting so much crap for it because it's just dumb. Like, I don't understand, like, what made him think that people would agree that he was right. Like, I don't understand, like
Right.
how many people, what went through his mind, like, oh, this is gonna make Juju look bad. And in reality, it was Juju was in college, and it pretty much said, "Hey, Antonio Brown, I'm a wide receiver, and I'm looking for what I could do to be better." Just, easy gist. And he posts that, thinking that that's gonna make Juju look bad. In reality, that makes Juju look like a better person. That he's like asking one of the better receivers in the league for advice on how to be better. Like, I don't understand what he's thinking. And I feel like John Gruden right now is just questioning himself on why they made this trade. Because I feel like this is honestly going to hurt the Oakland Raiders season. Because Antonio Brown just can't stay out of the starlight. And it's not like it's good, it's just negative. He's always just starting drama. And I feel like that's just going to hinder him. And then just whatever team he's with, I just feel like it's just an ongoing roller coaster of drama for Antonio Brown.
Yeah, and one of the responses Juju had to that was on Twitter. He said, "All I ever did was show the man love and respect from the moment I got into the league. I was genuinely happy for him, too, when he got traded to Oakland with a big contract. And now he takes shots at me on social media. And, a lot of people are feeling for Juju, and which I do as well. I mean, like you said, when, coming right out of college, when he was in college, kind of asking for Antonio Brown for advice, and being on the team, and then, I'm sure they were really close friends, and Antonio Brown ends up getting traded, and Juju supports him and was happy for him. And just all Juju has done is showed him respect.
Yeah.
And all he's done is, it's kind of like the roles were flip-flopped. Like, Juju's acting like a veteran, and Antonio Brown's acting like a, brand new rookie or 2-year wide receiver. I mean, he's a veteran. He's established in this league. I have respect for him as a player, but right now that's a low blow. And I don't understand what his problem is, because he got everything he wanted.
I know.
He wanted to get out of Pittsburgh. He wanted a big contract.
He got both.
In Oakland.
He's the number one wide receiver. There's no other wide receivers than him. He's gonna. It's just, I feel like he knows that he feels like he just needs to be in the talk. He just wants to be the center of attention, and because I feel like in reality, he went from Pittsburgh to Oakland. Yes, Oakland is a great franchise, but it's not Pittsburgh. The three biggest, the three biggest NFL franchises. I don't know, you can disagree with me, but in my opinion, you have the Steelers, Green Bay, and Dallas. And those are the three. And no matter what team you're on, people are going to be always getting that spotlight. So I feel like he's trying to do this more because he's with Oakland, who doesn't get as much as attention in the media as a Pittsburgh, Dallas, or a Green Bay team would. So he's doing that more just to be. He wants that more attention. That's what I think. It's that he just is obsessed with attention so much. He's going to be saying this outlandish remarks and jabs at his former players. That's what happens, and he just wants to be in the.
It kind of reminds me, like, it's almost like, like a guy and a girl dating each other. Like, Antonio Brown was dating Pittsburgh for a long time, and then, they went through a breakup, and he's like, man, I'm free at last. And now all of a sudden, it's like, what? Am I starting to miss Pittsburgh? Like,
yeah.
And then now
Pittsburgh
Pittsburgh
had a lot of good things about that. Like,
and now Juju's the new girlfriend.
Juju's the new boyfriend. Juju's the new boyfriend, and then he's like, wait, I think I'm better than him. What are you doing? Like, yeah, it's a great analogy.
Yeah, it's just like, it's like, come on, man, you wanted to move on, then move on, and I just, just if I had to think of who's going to have a bigger year, I think it's Juju Smith-Schuster because he's got a better quarterback in Ben Roethlisberger.
Oh no, that's I don't even think that's really debatable. It's Juju's easily going to have a better season because Antonio Brown, there's no wide receivers on that team. He's going to get double covered every single time. He's not going to be. He has Derek Carr who can't throw deep. It's
just going to be like Amari Cooper before he went to Dallas.
Yeah, exactly. Look what happened to Amari Cooper. Yeah, great point. Terrible season. Gets traded to Dallas. He becomes a Pro Bowler in the same season. That's what's like. And now I don't think he's gonna have a good year. But sticking with people being hating it, Tony Brown. Let's go to one of the most hated college basketball team, Duke. So of course you had Duke, obviously Duke star Zion Williamson is now being accused of taking money from Nike. So loyal Michael Avenatti continued to attack Nike on Monday, accusing the sports apparel giant of engaging in bribery in order to entice top college athletes into lucrative contracts and previously claimed that involving Duke star Zion Williamson. So he was, of course, the AP Player of the Year and CBS's Sports Player of the Year and Freshman of the Year, and expectedly the top pick. But he claimed that Nike paid Williamson's mom for a phony consulting service that she's committed on the allegations. So Duke's looking into it, and I just feel like this is just gonna be a huge mess, and like Nike declined to respond to his accusations. So I feel like anytime that happens, anytime a company declines to talk about something, I just feel like it makes them look even more guilty, because why aren't you talking about it? If you're not guilty, then you can easily come up with a statement, and it feels like, the more they wait, they can more think about the response. They say something. So I feel like there's more to the story that's coming out, but I just want to know if that happens, if Duke was involved.
Yeah, very well could. I mean, we know that obviously there was a huge academic scandal this year in in universities, so it wouldn't be a huge surprise to me. I think obviously that I know with scholarships and things like that colleges can't entice players and offer them awards or rewards like hey, if you come to Duke, we'll buy you a car, we'll pay you this money. Like, it's against the NCAA regulations to do that. So you can't entice players, which obviously that's what Nike is being investigated for. But honestly, I think it happens more than people think.
Yeah.
I think that
I feel like this is going to be like the push of the dominoes, that this is going to happen, and the next thing you know, it's going to accuse this person, that person's going to accuse this person. Next thing you know, we get a bunch of people being accused of doing this, then a bunch of people are going to be it's just.
And I think part of it obviously is because of Zion's just his profile, the way how he's very popular in not just NCAA but in basketball, and he's one of the most valued athletes in college right now, and he's one of the biggest up and rising guys. So it's almost like just anything to be able to get that attention. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm sure this happens to a lot of players, but just so happens that one of them happens to be one of the best college basketball players in the country, and that's how it gets so much attention. But I really sincerely think it happens a lot more than people think.
And what I think is really interesting too is, I saw this tweet earlier today or yesterday that they're talking about it, and it's kind of interesting. So if you were a basketball player and you were wearing Adidas and you're playing in a game and you broke your shoe, you tore through your shoe, and you injured yourself and you're out for a couple weeks, would you wear Adidas again?
No, I mean, I wouldn't. No.
I wouldn't either. And it's kind of interesting. You remember when Zion ripped through his shoe? He was wearing a Nike shoe. And yet he still wears Nike when he comes back. But it's just, I don't know. Like, it's just like, I wouldn't trust that brand. So, like, I feel like, like, really? Like, I'm not saying that it's, like, because of that he's guilty. But it's just kind of like, it's interesting that, he would still rock with a Nike a lot, even after, like, he blew out in his knee and whatnot. So I just feel like...
and they're also including Zion's mother, too.
Exactly.
Asking if Nike paid her, too. So it's like, now it's bringing Zion and his mother in, and... I mean, that happens, too. I've heard that before where parents get paid to send their kids places. I mean, this whole academic scandal where some of the Hollywood actresses paid schools to have their children be admitted and, have these great test scores and whatnot. It's just, there's a lot of scandals in colleges, and a lot of them, I mean, I think that one was the biggest academic scandal that there's ever been in college. And, that it was covered up for a long time. So it's like, I mean, some of this stuff, it only takes one time to have it come out, and then could be a lot of other scandals too.
What I want to know is what is the NCAA going to do? Because, Duke's still coastal team. They don't like punishing Duke, so I want to know what they would do, because they're going to have to do something.
Yeah, exactly.
And another thing that too, there's also accusations that the first overall pick of last year's NBA draft was also accused of DeAndre Ayton was also accused for doing the same exact, the same thing, that he was also paid by Nike to get paid. But I don't know, it's just there's just so much going on. Like, who knows what to believe anymore. Like, so that's just the beginning. So anything could happen. He could just be all fake because he just wants to get Nike in trouble, because that's what's going to happen. But at this point, I wouldn't be shocked if it happened. I hope it really doesn't happen, because I just can't stand when that happens. But you never know.
Yep, you hit it on the head right there.
So let's stick to basketball, but let's go to the NBA. Of course, you have the NBA season wrapping up tomorrow, I believe, on Wednesday. And as of right now, it's most likely over. I hate saying it, but Miami's most likely out. They have to win 2 games. It's just 6 seed can only be in the Nets or the Magic. 7 seed can be the Nets, Pistons, or Magic. 8 seed can be the Hornets, Pistons, Miami, or Magic. If Miami can get in, if they go 2-0, Pistons go 0-2, and the Magic goes 1-1. Magic can go 1-1. Miami can go 2-0, but Detroit will not go 0-2. So I feel like Miami will be out. Tonight's Dwayne Wade's last home game, which Dwayne Wade is one of my, if not my favorite players in the NBA of all time. He's just such a class act player. I mean, you saw that video I showed you earlier that Budweiser made. If you guys didn't, Budweiser just put on a such an emotional video of they had 4 people that he's helped out give not jerseys, but one jersey from a player that he had got a cap and gown for a scholarship that person received. And it's just an amazing video. If you haven't seen it, just look up Budweiser's Dwayne Wade's, goodbye. But I mean, you have the NBA playoff picture as of right now. In the West, you have the 1 seed Golden State, you have the 2 seed Denver, the 3 seed Houston, 4 seed Portland, 5 seed Jazz, 6 seed OKC, and 7 seed Spurs, and the 8th seed the Clippers. In my opinion, the West, I feel like Golden State just flipped on a switch and they're just going to run through everybody. I don't really see anyone stopping them in the West at all. I just feel like they're just
it's going to be tough because, we all know how good they are.
Yeah. I just feel like they're going to be... Look what they did Denver. They beat Denver by double-digit points every single time. And then in the East, you have 1 seed. You have the Bucks, the Raptors, the 76ers, the Celtics, the Pacers, the Nets, Magic, and Detroit. And I think in this one, I'm looking for if it hands up, I feel like whoever wins that second round is gonna make it, because in the second round you have the possibility of the Bucks and the Boston and the Celtics playing against each other, and I feel like both of those teams won't have an issue against the 76ers or Toronto. But I feel like any of those teams don't stand a chance against Golden State. And I feel like Golden State's going to win again, like the past 3 years. It's just... See, that's one thing I don't like with the NBA. It's always the same teams winning. There's not much parity as there are in the NFL.
Yeah, the only comment I really have is, because obviously the Eastern Conference is... I think it's up for grabs.
It's so weak. It's up for grabs for anyone, but all we're gonna do is win the Eastern Conference.
Who's your
my pick?
Who would be your pick, and who would be your sleeper in the Eastern Conference?
Ooh. See, I'm picking the Raptors. My sleeper, the Pacers.
Yep. Sleepers who?
Indiana, the Pacers.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. The first time Joshua Velasquez and Dylan Davis agree on something.
Wait, well, that's folks, that's never gonna happen again. Just letting you know,
because Indiana is definitely my sleeper. I think that they're an underrated team.
Look what they were able to do last year. I feel like they will be able to do it again and more experienced. Do you have any...
Forget the guy's name. His last name starts with a B.
Do you have any... Victor Oladipo?
No, his last name starts with a B.
Oh.
Is it Is it Bogdanovich or something like that? Is he on the Pacers?
I can't think of that right now. But in the Western Conference... So who do you think's going to win it, though?
What do you mean, like win...
Like, who's your pick for the East?
Oh, yeah, it was Bogdanovich. That's who it was.
Who's your pick for the East?
Who I pick? I mean, honestly...
the only reason I'm going to the Raptors is because of who they have on their team. I just feel like they're going to be able to,
Yeah, that's what I would, too. They've got a lot of...
That's two agreements in this episode, folks. No.
Now, on the other side...
Okay, this is not an agreement. Everyone's obviously picking Golden State as their pick.
Yeah.
But...
A sleeper... I mean, there's not that there's gonna be one, but just for the heck of it, I would probably go with Oklahoma City.
I wouldn't know. I would say San Antonio.
San Antonio?
You can't go wrong with Popovich. You never know what he does. It's the playoffs.
That's true, yeah.
The things he's able to do is just incredible. But I think it's going to be Golden State and Toronto in the finals, and I feel like Golden State's going to sweep again. Back-to-back sweeps.
Yeah, I don't really have any argument against that because it's happened so much, like you said, in the NBA. It doesn't have as much transparency as the NFL, where it's like
obviously
things change.
Yeah, things change. You have different teams in the playoffs every year. You have teams who are in the playoffs who all of a sudden in the top 10 draft picks. It's just there's so much more parity in the NFL than there was in the NBA. It's just that's why I think the NFL is always going to be the most dominant sport. It's just because there's so much more parity. But let's stick with the NFL. And there's just been so much news in the NFL recently of the AF sadly falling apart, which stinks. And then you just have those players who were able to be signed. You had other signings. The biggest one, of course, was Tank DeMarcus Lawrence signed the new deal with Dallas. So that was huge. He signed a 5-year, over $100 million contract. So that's it. He's getting his surgery tomorrow. So
that was one of my biggest concerns because that'll be a 4 to 6 month recovery.
Yeah, but you never know. Bodies always recover differently.
Yep. I mean, it's good that he's getting it out of the way.
Yeah.
If he would have put it off and he would have played, and say he hurt himself, it could be a lot worse than, choosing to repair it now. I think you would have liked to see him do it sooner than now, but he thinks he'll be ready by week 1, so, time will tell.
Exactly. And then, of course, you have Kyler Murray is visiting with the Arizona Cardinals. So that's just going to spice everything up on what's going to happen with Josh Rosen. So,
oh, yeah. It's smokescreen season 2, folks.
It'd be different if, they have, the 4th pick, and, everyone, always, because they had 20, because, and he's also going to be among the 23 prospects attending the draft because they have announced who's going to be in the green room. They are Josh Allen, linebacker from Kentucky, DeAndre Baker of the D-back from Georgia, Nick Bosa, defensive end from Ohio, Marquise Brown, the wide receiver from Oklahoma, Brian Burns, Florida State, Devin Bush, Michigan, Andre Denard, Washington State, Noah Fant, Iowa, Cody Ford, Oklahoma, TJ Hawkinson, Iowa, Josh Jacobs, Alabama, Daniel Jones, Duke, Drew Lock, Missouri, DK Metcalf, Ole Miss, Kyle Murray, Oklahoma, Ed Oliver, Houston, Montez Sweat, Mississippi State, Jawan Taylor, Florida, Devin White, LSU, Christian Wilkins, Clemson, Greedy Williams, LSU, Jonah Williams, Alabama, Quinn Williams, Alabama. So, those are the people who are in the green room. It's going to be interesting to see, which one is. I always find it interesting in what one player is left because I just always feel bad for that player because that must be just. It's not embarrassing, but you have the green room of 23 people, and then you're the last one to be picked. And you're just sitting in the green room, and you have players who aren't in the green room being picked. And you're just like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? And then if you don't get drafted in the first day, to come back the second day, and it's just, the emotion going through them is just burning through. But also it's a good thing for those players because then they have that chip on their shoulder,
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think, honestly, this draft I've been following the most out of any draft. This one I got a head start on it early. So I've been doing mock drafts after mock drafts. I'm going to have my newest one up on our Facebook page, I would say by the end of the week, if not next week. And obviously, it's not going to be official until the week of the draft because so many things are changing. But it's becoming more official as
I'll be
I'm doing
putting
it.
my mock draft up early next week, so my
Yeah,
mock
we'll
draft will be
probably have ours
up.
up about
That will
the
be my
same
first one I'll be doing, and then I'll have one more right before the draft. But speaking of,
I will give a quick sneak peek. I do not have Kyler Murray going first overall as of right now.
well, I just wanted to realize you're dead wrong. But
Joey
speaking of the NFL,
not Joey. Wow.
Antonio Brown
Nick.
tweeted again earlier today. And I don't believe what he just tweeted. Not giving you media fakes, no more ammo. Enjoy my name, AB. I'm in Cali, living ready to ball. No nonsense. You trollers troll. Too good to bully. Yeah, okay. Yep.
You know what's crazy? Look how different. Okay. Remember when Odell Beckham Jr. was the diva wide receiver of the NFL, and he was doing all this crap? Look what has he done lately? I mean, we have not heard, besides getting traded, he hasn't done anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, his name has not been in the news. And then you look at a guy like Antonio Brown, who's an established veteran, and that's all he's doing. And it's not good. He's not in the news for good thing. It feels like, because as a Giants fan, when you are more exposed to the Odell Beckham stories, it seemed like every week he's doing something. But now, like, after this past year, he kind of, it was steady. He was all right, wasn't doing much. And now looking at Antonio Brown, it's like he's picking up that role where he's constantly in the news because he can't, he either can't keep his mouth shut or he can't get off the keyboard.
What I think it's just, he needs attention. I feel like he's just, there's some people like that just need to be the center of attention. And when he was in Pittsburgh, he didn't have to do much because it's Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And then now he's in Oakland, he realized, like, oh crap, I actually have to do a lot of stuff. I need to make drama. I need to be, like, you don't even need to tweet that he's not giving no more ammo. Just stop tweeting.
Yeah, you know who's probably the happiest organization right now?
The
I would say
Browns.
the Buffalo Bills. Because
Yeah.
when they tried to get Antonio Brown, they avoided a huge mess. And I'm sure they're very happy.
Mm-hmm. It would have
But I
been.
also just wanted to give a shout out real quick before we end the show. I was looking at the free agent stuff. The Miami Dolphins signed 7 AAF players. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, hopefully one of
7.
them. I hope Dallas, I know, signed one. The Eagles signed the quarterback who learned how to play QB through YouTube. So I'm hoping at least a couple of these players were able to make it on the roster.
Yeah, it's really awesome to see. It's really awesome that, as soon as this league developed, it was their dream to be able to have a second chance or even just their first chance at the NFL. And, after, sadly, the league ends, but it's becoming a bright future for some of these players that stood out, and they're already getting, contracts in the NFL. I'm not saying that all of them are going to make it past the 53, but they're getting that chance that they worked hard for in this spring.
No, exactly, yeah. So I'm just hoping that at least some of them is going to be able to sign with be on that 53-man roster. If not, at least just that practice squad.
Oh yeah, and it'd be awesome to have one of them be, one of the
Pro Bowlers.
one of the guys on your fantasy team or something, like someone that's an up and coming guy. That'd be really cool. A cool
Exactly.
journey to witness.
But once again, I'm Joshua Velasquez,
And I'm Dylan Davis.
and this was the J&D Sports Show.